The iPhone 16e is the newest, cheapest iPhone that you can buy for $599, but is it worth it? Or should you just kind of, save a little and get the iPhone 16 for $799? Well, let's go ahead and talk about it. I want to compare these two phones, talk about the ins and outs, talk about the camera and other features that are missing or present, and I don't want to get too into the tech specs. I don't want to get into the geeky stuff because, well, let's just be honest, tech specs are boring. And if you're new here and you like no BS tech videos, I always say it how it is, then maybe consider subscribing. So let's kick things off with the physical design. Now, the iPhone 16 has the dynamic island, which lets you get faster access to, things like music, timers, Uber rides, and more. The iPhone 16e, on the other hand, has a notch that we all have come to love, or hate, depending on the side you're on. Now, to be honest, and I mean completely honest, I actually like the iPhone 16e, or at least the way it looks like. There's just something about a simple camera. That's it. I don't know, I just miss the days where phones look clean and now we have camera bumps that take up half the phone, I don't know, what do you guys think? The iPhone 16 does come with the camera control button, which lets you quickly open up the camera as well as changing some settings around, as well as using it as a shutter button just like a real camera. Both phones come with the action button, which is new for the iPhone 16e and, well, for the 16 as well. Now, this button is reprogrammable. You can kind of set it to what you like. I'm kind of boring. I have mine set to mute. But you can do as you please. Another new addition is, hey, look at that. We finally have USB-C on the iPhone 16e, just like on the iPhone 16. And they're both the same speeds, USB 2, so not really missing much there. Now, there are some invisible differences as well. Let's talk about it. The iPhone 16 comes with the latest generation of ceramic shield, which is supposed to give you better protection, whereas the iPhone 16e comes with the last generation of ceramic shield, similar to what you would find on the iPhone 15 series. Look, guys, to be honest, they both scratch. I mean, I'm not going to test it out, but glass is glass and glass breaks and scratches. That's nothing new. Please use a screen protector. All right, you don't want to pay these outrageous prices to fixing a screen on the iPhone from Apple. Believe me. No, seriously, believe me. But that's not all. The iPhone 16 comes with MagSafe built into the phone so you can attach or use your favorite accessories. Meanwhile, the iPhone 16e does not come with MagSafe and it's not even Qi 2 certified, so you're not getting that enhanced speed. Now, what's crazier is, when Apple first released the iPhone 16e and with no MagSafe, I was like, all right, you can just use a case, and that's true. However, Apple's very own cases for the iPhone 16e also don't support MagSafe. They don't have magnets included, which is kind of un-Apple-like. I would have thought they would put them in just to kind of help sell the cases. Unfortunately, you're going to have to find a third-party case, which, let's be honest, there are millions around. Now, the difference of having Qi 2 wireless charging and not having Qi 2 wireless charging is that the iPhone 16e can only charge wirelessly up to 7.5 watts, which is pretty darn slow. Meanwhile, the iPhone 16 can go up to 25 watts of wireless charging, which is much, much better. Now, the only camera you're getting on the iPhone 16e is the primary 48 megapixel camera, and I have no idea why I said primary because it's the only camera. However, it is not the same 48 megapixel camera that's on the primary of the iPhone 16. There are some differences. With the iPhone 16, you can expect better looking photos as well as better depth of field since the sensor is larger, but honestly, in great lighting, you won't notice that much of a difference. Both phones do incredible. The larger difference is when you enter low light, and that is where the iPhone 16 shines the best. Now, as far as selfie cameras go, I really can't tell a difference. I mean, if there is a difference, it's basically not significant enough for me to even mention. I think both look fantastic. Now, the biggest camera differences isn't really even the hardware, it's the software. For example, the iPhone 16 has super steady video, also known as action mode, which takes stabilization, oh boy, it takes it to a whole new level. The iPhone 16 also comes with the latest generation of photographic styles, which lets you change the style after the fact, whereas on the iPhone 16e, you have to pick the style first, then take a photo. But what if you did that and you don't really like the way the photo came out with that style? well, too bad. You have to delete that photo or just live with it. There's no way to change the style after you've taken the photo on the 16E, whereas on the 16, you can go ahead and change it however many times you want. Another difference is with macro photos. Now, since the 16E does not come with an ultra-wide lens, you will not be able to take macro photos, and you're also losing cinematic mode on the iPhone 16E as well, also known as portrait video. Now, this is kind of unfortunate, but I totally get it. You need more than one camera lens to be able to perceive that depth of field for the cinematic mode to be, well, cinematic. If you're a fan of quick take video, and by that I mean you just open up the camera, and even though it's on the photo tab, all you have to do is just click and hold and it'll actually start recording a video on the photo tab. Now, unfortunately, this is bad quality on the iPhone 16E. If you do a quick take video using the iPhone 16E, the video will be in this kind of weird square format, and the resolution will be 1440 by 1080 at 30 FPS with no HDR support. However, with the iPhone 16, doing a quick take video is identical to taking a real video. It takes a full resolution video up to 4K quality Dolby Vision HDR up to 30 frames per second. I use quick take video a lot. In fact, I never really even scroll over to the video tab. I just pull out my camera, click and hold, boom, and then you just slide to lock it so you don't have to keep holding your finger, that's a word, your finger on the display. I use it a lot, but what about you? Connectivity is also a bit different. So if you're a fan of millimeter wave 5G, in other words, super fast 5G, there is no faster, right? Well, the iPhone 16 is capable of it, whereas the 16E is not. Another weird thing is that the iPhone 16E is only capable of Wi-Fi 6, not Wi-Fi 6E and not Wi-Fi 7 like the iPhone 16 is. So the iPhone 16 is just more future-proof, especially if you're maybe thinking about buying a Wi-Fi 7 router in the coming months or the coming years, especially because, well, both of these phones are supported for 6 to 7 years. So something to think about. Moving on to the displays, they are both, as Apple calls them, Super Retina XDR, but not really. The iPhone 16 will give you much better performance outside since it's much brighter. You get up to 2000 nits of peak brightness compared to 1200 on the iPhone 16e, and the typical brightness is also higher on the iPhone 16, up to 1000 nits compared to 800. And this is something that I actually do notice on a daily basis. The iPhone 16 also has a lower minimum brightness, which is helpful for, if you wake up in the middle of the night, you want to check the time, your phone's not going to blind you. It goes down to 1 nit of brightness, which is, basically as low as you can get. As far as capacity goes, well, there's no difference. Both start at 128 and both go up to 512, so no 1 terabyte option for either of these two. Now, the battery life is super good on the iPhone 16e. In fact, if there's one thing to like about this phone, yeah, it's the battery life. This is partly due to the fact that the iPhone 16e has a slightly larger battery than the iPhone 16, and it's also using Apple's own cellular modem, the C1 modem that I spoke about earlier. However, remember, you don't get millimeter wave 5G, so do keep that in mind. But for example, if I'm ending my days with around 20% of battery on the iPhone 16, it would be around 30 to 35% on the iPhone 16e. Now, of course, your use case may be different. I don't play games on my phone, so if you do, you can expect worse battery. I used, texting, social media, just normal checking the email and everything, just, normally using my phone, no games, no hardcore use of the camera. So with the iPhone 16e, I'm getting on average around 7 hours of screen on time, whereas with the 16, I'm getting around 6 to 6.5 hours. Again, this all depends what I'm doing that day. But on average, yeah, you can expect the 16e to outlast the 16, which I can't lie, that's pretty impressive. Now, as far as performance goes, both phones have the Apple A18 chip. However, it is not the same chip. The iPhone 16e has a 4-core GPU, and on the iPhone 16, it is a 5-core GPU. Now, look, I don't know if this is a one-off. I don't want to really make a big deal out of this, but I actually did notice the difference. When I was scrolling through Instagram, I would just notice, it would lag. I don't want to really call it lag, but it would just, if I swiped up too fast or swiped down too fast, it would scroll and then stop for like half a second, then scroll again, or it would hang up for maybe a second or 2 seconds. I noticed this quite frequently, and I don't know if maybe I received a bad unit. Maybe if you guys watching this video have the iPhone 16e, definitely drop me your comment down below to, let me know how your experience has been. For me, it's a bit stuttery, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Maybe Apple can address this in a future update, but aside from that, performance has been pretty much identical. Again, aside from that. All in all, I do think the iPhone 16e is a bit expensive considering the shortcut it's taking, like missing MagSafe and other software features. The iPhone 16e is directly replacing the iPhone SE, but remember, the SE was $430. This is $600. So, I don't know, I do believe this would be a perfect phone if it was maybe $500, a little bit closer to that $430 price mark that the SE was at. But at $600, I mean, I don't know. I can't really say this is a horrible phone. It's not, but the price is a bit bad. So what do you guys think about the iPhone 16e? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Are you currently watching this video on it? Let me know down below in the comments. And if you're new here and you like no BS tech videos, definitely subscribe. And as always, this was Mark from Mark's Tech. Adios.